LSU baseball takes 2 of 3 for another weekend here. This time versus Texas A&M. The Tigers now 23-10 overall, 8-4 in conference play. Midweek game in North Baton Rouge versus Southern on Tuesday night. That'll be a 6:30 first pitch. As LSU right now is feeling pretty good, coming off of a 2-game split on Saturday that was able to get LSU 2 of 3 on the weekend. Coach Nolan Cain every Monday here with us on Off the Bench. 8:30. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Doing good. All right, when you're recruiting Cole Henry, you have any idea that he's going to be this good this quick?
Well, him coming in, it was the same story as, Marceau and Jaden Hill as well. And he was one of those big three coming in, and you knew he had the stuff and the pitchability, command of 3 pitches. I think he's held his velocity a little bit better than maybe you thought he would throughout the later parts of the game. But just a kid, man, every time you go see him, had a lot of poise on the mound. I think you've heard Coach Maneri say it kind of reminds him a little bit of Nolan, just like that. No emotion on the mound, business-like, just getting after guys, and he's been fantastic for us.
From the way that he started the season, was there any concern in the dugout on the way that Saturday night started?
Not really. We didn't make some plays behind him too. I mean, he could have finished that game out. We probably cost him about 20 pitches early in that game. A little miscommunication between the second baseman and the first baseman, and then a little flare out there in left field that Giovanni's got to come in and get. Josh tried to go back on it. So there was a couple other plays in that game that cost him. Every time you make an error, there's just a miscue. I mean, it's 5, 6, 7 extra pitches. So we really felt he could have finished it there. He wanted it after he came in. He walked down to the end of the dugout, and Coach Maneri and AD were looking at the roster, kind of seeing who they were going to send down to the bullpen. He came up and pointed to himself, and I think they wanted to run him back out there, but that inning got a little bit long, and you always love to see that from one of your pitchers that wants the ball, wants to finish the game, but really big to see that from a freshman.
Yeah, and Coach, take us in the dugout then. So you get down 6-0 game 2. You manage to fight all the way back. You're in a prime position, no out man on second and third. You end up coming up short, a couple Ks. Chris Reed almost gets it done. Great play to end game 2. It's a pretty bitter way to end. But you didn't have a lot of time to dwell on. Like, what was the meeting like in between games 2 and 3 to get that team ready to go take the series?
I think it was just more of a learning experience for these guys. I mean, listen, the Asa Lacey kid, I mean, he should be in AAA right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the guy's 97th bullet of the game was his 112th bullet of the game was 97 miles per hour from the left side. I mean, you're looking at probably the 1-1 next year in the draft. I mean, he sat 94, 97. He had 4 pitches in the zone. He was throwing 3-2 changeups to left-hand pitchers just for the heck of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was just ridiculous what he was doing. And there was a point in there where I was like, we're going to get no hit, but we did a really good job of getting him out of the game, at the end of that 6th inning and getting to their bullpen, which was, kind of the plan, let's get to their bullpen. We were able to do that, but in between there's just a little bit of a lull there. Cade Beloso drops a pop fly, in foul territory. We had 5 errors in that second game, and it wasn't that the guys gave up. I think there's just like a little bit of lapse of concentration, almost like, hey, let's get to this next game and let's win this next game. And Coach Maneri's message after the game was like, hey, listen, we could have won that game if we don't make errors. We're the number 2 fielding team in the SEC right now. Like, if we just hold our ground and just grind it out, there's a chance for us to win that game. And that was kind of the message there. And I hope it's a learning experience, especially for those young kids, the freshmen that maybe just haven't been through it before, been in those situations, but really proud with the way we bounced back and got that big win and kind of ran away with it at the end there. Obviously, Cole Henry was the story there, but offensively we were able to get it going.
And so Henry Walker switching spots this weekend. What was the idea behind that?
Coach Maneri just kind of came in after the game and said that, hey, we're gonna start Walker first, and we're gonna go with Henry second, and from there he went on to do some of the media stuff after the game, and there was really no questions about it. That's what we were gonna do, and I think you'll probably this weekend I think you'll probably still see Walker on Sunday. I mean, Coach Maneri and AD will have to chat about that a little bit, but feel comfortable running either one of those guys out there. Again, Eric Walker pitched pretty good. Just had that one inning where he walked two batters in a row and walked the 9-hole hitter. You just can't do that. And Eric Walker knows he can't do that either. And then their 2-hole hitter kind of busted it open there with a bases clearing double.
Should the fans expect to see Landon Marceau a little bit this week?
Yeah, I think the plan is for him to start that game against Southern. I believe so. So he threw last week, threw a really good bullpen. You could see him. He was, you asked him how he was feeling. I feel great. So as long as everything went well throughout the rest of the weekend, I think that's probably the plan. And, it looks like there's a chance we could get Costello back this weekend. And, you're looking at Henry, Hess, and Walker on the weekend, and then you're able to run out Beck and Vittmeyer and Fontenot and Peterson and Costello, and now you throw Hilliard. If we're able to get Marceau going on those midweek games, you're able to go Hilliard on the weekend too. I mean, he threw a cutter to Shoemake, about broke his hand. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, dude.
They got this guy on Twitter. It's like this guy is like a pitching ninja or something like that. He just shows like the nastiest pitches the guys throw. It's usually just high school guy. I mean, usually just professional baseball. But you saw Mikhail on there the other day, and obviously his stuff the last couple of weeks. I mean, Mikhail Hilliard's back. I mean, the stuff is real crisp. Everything is extremely late, and does a good job against left-handed hitters and right-handed hitters. So it gives us a really good option out of the bullpen if he's able to stay there.
Shoemake became a meme on Saturday. It'll be forever.
Yeah, he did.
He'll be playing
and he's a
forever.
good player, man.
Yeah, he is.
You throw a pitch. I mean, that guy's been around the league for a while. He's going to be a first or second round draft pick, Team USA shortstop for Coach Maneri last year. So that's not just some 9-hole hitter up there. That's a real dude.
Real quick, I got a minute. I put the boys on Nick Storrs' highlight film on their huddle film, on his huddle highlight film from football in high school. What's he mean getting back to the staff?
Oh man, if he can make it back, and he's still got a little bit of ways to go. It seems like as he breaks through some of these hurdles, when he started playing catch from 120 feet, and then has not a setback, but just breaking through that barrier, and then getting to be able to long toss, and then through a short box, which is basically a bullpen on the front of the mound, where you're just getting a little bit of the angle and the slope, and then gets a little tender, and then through a 20-pitch bullpen last week, and man, he's a dog, and if we can get him back and get him healthy, I mean, that's a real competitor. We love those football kids. Like I said, you can flip on that huddle video and just see him pancaking dudes. He looks like Gronk in high school, just running the seam and just catching tight ends, and just he's a fantastic kid and a real competitor, and he's kept his spirits up, which is really difficult. I mean, he's had since the end of his senior year of high school when he first got injured, he's had a tough run of it, but you would never know. He's kept the confidence, kept the belief, and kept working, and he looks fantastic. And if we can get him back over the next 3 or 4 weeks, that'd just be another bullet out of the bullpen.
Next 4 away from the box, Skip Bertman Field there at Southern University on Tuesday night, taking on the Jaguars, and this weekend 3 games in Columbia, Missouri versus the Tigers. LSU baseball right now, after taking 2 of 3 from Texas A&M over the weekend, 23-10 overall, and tied for first place in the SEC Western Division race. Coach Nolan Cain, keep them hot. Thanks for the time, man.
Thanks for having me on, guys.